Hey friends, welcome back to this channel. My name is Stacy here with Stacy Makes, and we talk about crochet things here. So markets, new patterns, market prepping, all that fun stuff. So today I'm going to show you what I made this week. I had 2 pattern tests this week. Sorry, squirrel. I had 2 pattern tests this week and then a bunch of smaller makes. And I'm also going to show you the makes that you missed last week. If you watched last week's video and my face froze and for like 3 minutes, and I tried, guys, to like redo the video and re-export it, but my computer was just shot, and it's been on my list for a while now to buy a new laptop. I'm just running out of storage. The one I had was just a really cheap one I bought like 6-7 years ago, and it was just not enough to keep processing all those huge files. So I gave up and just left the freeze in there and put a pinned comment on there. So apologize for those of you who got to that video and was like, what is going on here? And maybe you didn't see my comment because you watched it on the TV. Anyway, I will show you the things that you missed while my face was frozen. And I was talking, you could hear what I was saying, but my face was just like, I don't know, I can't even remake that face. And I also apologize for the sniffles and the stuffed up nose. It is spring here in the Midwest and everything is blooming, and that just means all kinds of allergies and ugh. So anyway, let's get started by showing you the few things that you guys might have missed last week because I froze on the screen. I'm gonna get comfy, guys. I'm just gonna get comfy. Okay. I believe you missed my market mouse, which you have seen me make these before. This is by Cluck and Buzz Crochet. I made one in brown and I sell these for $8. You guys had saw my Kirby's the week before, or 2 weeks ago, so a week before last week's video. And I was showing you the Kirby's on the swing, and I think you guys missed these. Didn't you? Did you miss seeing the Kirby's on the swings? If you did, I apologize if you saw them. I think it was the Kirby's and the mouse. So I'm going to show them to you. Hopefully they're focusing. This is a free pattern on Instagram by Nemo Crochet, and I just attached a swing from another pattern to it right through the bobbles. So and I sell these for $10. So that was last week's makes that I think you guys missed last week. And so I just didn't want you to miss seeing them in case you were interested. Okay, so on to this week. I talked about it a little bit last week in that video. That I had, I did the mermaids last week from Mom Sacchetti. It was just a week of pattern test. Like weird because like I hadn't pattern tested for forever, it felt like. And when I do pattern test, it's like one here, and then I don't pattern test for a month or two, and then it's like one here. And so I'm always applying for them and not really thinking about like, what if I get picked for all of them overlapping each other, because I very rarely get picked. I mean, like these are people that, you know, have lots and lots of people that comment on their post and they're trying to pick somebody. And so, I mean, it's no fault of theirs. I'm not saying anything bad about anybody. I'm just saying that because just like when I have a tester call, you know, you get 60, 80, some people get hundreds of people applying and you're just trying to pick like 5 or 8, you know. So it's just the odds are just not in your favor. So I didn't think about obviously getting picked for all of them. I think pretty much the 3, the one I did last week and the 2 I did this week, I got chosen within several days of each other, and I think they're all the ones that I applied for, and I just happened to get into them. Sorry, I'm going to turn this up a little bit. So just a crazy coincidence that I got into the mermaid thing from Mom Sacchetti, and then I got picked for these next 2. So my week started off with a rhino. So I shop Safari Stitches is the Instagram. It's shop.safaristitches. Her Etsy is Tabs Safari Stitches, all one word. And this rhino was just so cute. This is Rowan the Rhino. The pattern is now released. I think she just released it yesterday, possibly. Never done one of her patterns before. So this, you know, the designer was new to me. And it's adorable. So here is Rowan the Rhino. I'm going to 360 this guy so you can see him. Look at these little hands and the little feet. Okay, so this is a Lee's Veludo yarn. So it's somewhere between Parfait Chunky and Burnett. I would say it's similar to Sweet Snuggles Lightweight. I used a 5.5mm hook. I don't remember the colors. They go by numbers, and this particular color was missing its sleeve. Because sometimes, depending on where you buy it from, they take the sleeves off all the yarn, vacuum seal it all, and then they ship you the sleeves also, but just like in a little baggie. And then you gotta like match them up if you want. And I just didn't do that. So I didn't look back either. But this is really, it's a brown yarn that definitely kind of leans towards a gray. These are 25mm sinker eyes that I painted. Got the little highlight on them. But I got these by mistake. I got the ones with the little highlights on them by mistake in my batch, the last batch that I ordered. And I didn't think I would use them, but then I've just been keeping them for myself. When I paint safety eyes, I'll paint a few of them. And I actually like them on some of the animals. So, okay, so let's talk about this pattern. So you make the arms, ears, I mean, pretty much everything. Yes, everything is sewed on here, or crocheted. No, it's sewed on. So you sew the head to the body, you sew the horns to the head, you sew the ears to the head, you sew the arms to the body. The legs do attach to each other, and then you work up from there. So you don't sew them onto the body necessarily. They just make the base of the body. They do have a good wide base to them. So, I mean, I think he would lean and stand pretty good because his feet actually have quite a bit of a base underneath them. He's got some hips to him. You like his hips? Little, I don't know what you call them. You don't really call them toe beans. I mean, it's kind of like his hooves or whatever, but these are neat on the arms and the feet. It would be really easy to crochet these into the round. That's about the only thing that could be probably crocheted in that was sewed on. And it would be easy to do if you just look to see what row she says to sew those onto, and then just crochet them into that same row. You might have been able to do the tail that way too, because the tail I did sew on as well. You sew the ears so that they stand up according to the pattern. You could fluff them out a little bit more if you wanted, or you could kind of make them flat and straight up. I think it's kind of how I had them. Okay, easy pattern to follow. I mean, there was no issues really with the pattern. I mean, besides like a few little minor things that she did fix, I'm sure, before she released it. You work the head from the front to the back. The nostrils are bobbles. You know, these are real easy to place because you just place them between the nostrils, place that between the eyes, and then sew these on so many rows behind the eyes and then up, you know. So pretty easy pattern to follow, and makes a pretty big plushie. Like if this was in Burnett Blanket, imagine how big he'd be. So he is a beauty. So go follow Shop Safari Stitches on Instagram. I'll put links down to everything below. I always do try to remember to do that. If I forget something, let me know. But I'll have a link down below to her Etsy and her Instagram for you. I appreciate her letting me have a chance to test this guy. He did take me a couple nights to get all the pieces and the body and everything put together, just because I work full time and I didn't. So, I mean, it did take me several hours to make this guy. I think I'm going to put 40 on him is what I have slated for him right now. I'm trying to think if I can show you a better idea of kind of how big he is. There's my head. Okay, I don't think I've ever made a big rhino before. I have made like a big hippo at the very beginning of my amigurumi journey. I made I think it was Rose and Lily, or I had a hippo pattern on YouTube that I made that turned out pretty big, like this guy, but bigger because he was in Burnett, but similar as far as, you know, I think this is what the size would be if I had made this in the same yarn. But yeah, I don't think I've ever made a rhino before, so it was neat to make one. I think I might have made a little one before. And I know Tara, I think, has made Madeline Mako's before, my daughter, who also crochets, and we do markets together if you're new. But I know she's made, I think, Madeline Mako's rhino, but I haven't made it. Anyway, super adorable. Love this guy. $40, Rowan the Rhino from Shop Safari Stitches. Okay, the next pattern that I got chosen to do was Morty the Monkey by Going Crochet. Ashley, a friend of mine, and I had not done any of her shelf sitters before. Every other time she'd had a tester call, I was buried or just was overcommitted, and so I applied to this one, obviously thinking that I didn't have anything else going on, and then got chosen for 3 in the same couple days. But I had a whole week to make this guy, and Rowan was due like the day before, so I just put them in order that I received them and did the mermaids first, then I did Rowan, and then I did the monkey. And by the time I started the monkey, most people in the tester group were already done, and they were doing classic monkey colors, and I wanted to do something different. My daughter was in here, my younger daughter. She's younger, but she's 17. She was in here, and she's very creative. She's a very amazing artist. She draws, and it's just crazy what she can do. I don't draw. Her and Tara both can do that, and it blows my mind. But anyway, she was in here talking about something else, and I'm like, okay. She was getting ready to leave, and I was trying to pick out what colors I wanted to do the monkey in, and I was like, okay, girl, I'm thinking I want to do pink or I want to do blue. Like, I'll do a light pink and a medium pink, or a light blue and a medium blue. And I'm like, which one do you think I should do? And she's like, you should do banana colors. And they were sitting right in front of us. Like, some of my Burnett is in front of me. The TV is behind what you're seeing right now. And that's where I sit and face in this recliner. And then some of my Burnett's back here in this cabinet. And the 2 colors were right next to each other. And she's like, those colors right there. Like, you've got to make a banana monkey. And I'm like, that was a great idea, because then it also makes it fairly neutral and kind of just fun. So Morty the Monkey became Nanners, the banana monkey, out of Burnett Blanket. I had the hardest time picking eyes for this guy because I didn't want him to look crazy. I didn't want him to be sinker eyes because I knew I had to sew the muzzle around. It's really hard to sew right next to sinker eyes in crochet, like right next to them. And I thought the muzzle was going to be a little closer to the eyes than it is. And I thought I won't be able to get in there, so I need to make maybe flat back eyes that sit on the top. Anyway, enough talk about the pattern. Let me just show it to you. Okay, guys. This is Nanners, or Morty the Monkey, in banana colors. See if I can get him all in there. He's pretty long. Sorry, I'm like a hot mess express today. Okay, so she picked these colors, and, well, we picked them together. This yellow is like not old formula, but it's pretty close and was not very fun to work with. And then this lighter is like the Buttercup Baby Blanket, which is pretty soft. So that gave me some fits trying to work on him. To take me 2 nights as well, which is why a lot of what, you know, you're not going to see a whole lot more besides this and the rhino today. I've got some small stuff, but that's about it. So the way her shelf sitter patterns are designed is you make all the pieces that you can. She has you crochet everything in that you can, you know, like you're making the rounds, you know, this way. And if your arm can go in that way and go down, you're fine. But if you know, if a designer wants your arms to go out this way, it's against the rows. So the rounds, so you have to sew them on. So it's like crochet everything in that can, you know, that can go in the same parallel to the way the round direction's going, like the tail, the little feet or legs, I mean, and the arms. So you make all of the pieces except for the muzzle and the ears. She has you do those last because you do have to sew those on. So those are the 2 things that you do sew onto this pattern, is the ears and the muzzle. Okay, anyway, her shelf sitter patterns are designed to have a flat bottom. The legs are in the front, so they hang over the shelf. But she also has a neat little detail in them where they kind of have, they have knees and elbows, where you crochet them together and then you go back out and it makes a, like a knee or elbow bend in the legs and the arms. And then she has a really unique shape to the little feet on this. So there's like these toes, and then she has a separate one over here. And then she has a thumb on the hands. The tail's just one big long tail. There's an inner and an outer to this ear that you make the inner, make the outer, and then you crochet them together. And then you have to sew them on. Sorry. Super easy. Lots of rounds, I mean, which are pretty mindless and easy because, you know, you're just making rounds, right? I mean, I don't know how many rounds you made for this tail, but it was a lot. And then make arms, make legs, make tail, start from the bottom up, and then the head and the body is all one piece. And then you get completely done, and then you make the muzzle, make the ears, sew them on, and then I added the hair tuft, which you don't have to do. Pretty easy pattern to follow. Easy, good pictures, good directions. I do have some sitting people as well that I do, and these are different. I mean, because of the bends on the arms and the legs, for sure. And then my heads are sewn onto my body, so mine don't go on up. My heads are usually built from the front to the back, so you have to sew the head onto the body on mine. And I don't have a monkey. I hadn't gotten to a monkey yet. I haven't designed any more of these for a while. So she's got a giraffe, I think, a cat, a dog, and this monkey, and I'm not sure what else, but you should go check it out. Ashley from Going Crochetzy. I'll have her Ko-Fi, or coffee. I don't know how to say it. I say Ko-Fi. Some people say coffee. I'll have it linked below because she doesn't have an Etsy, and then I'll have her YouTube channel as well. You can follow her on YouTube. She's always doing some great videos just to follow along. She's market prepping, doing little challenges and fun stuff like that. So great pattern, Ashley. Thank you for letting me test it. I think I'm going to put 38 on this guy. Yep. Okay. Okay. I do have one other pattern that was new to me that I made this week that is small, and that is this little bitty dragon. This is a baby dragon. His little face. If I can get out of the way and you guys get him to focus. Green Frog Crochet has a whole set of these little baby animals that are in eggs. I think there's 7 or 8 of them in this pack. I bought them a couple weeks ago when she released. I don't know if this one was the new one or the hatchling egg ones were the new ones. But anyway, I bought both packs and I hadn't made anything out of it yet. And I was just sitting here and I was like, what can I make with the colors that's already in my basket? And then I was experimenting with yarn over versus yarn under. I am usually a yarn over person. That's the way I've learned. That's the way I've always crocheted. But I wanted, one of my goals for 2025 was to possibly get to where I could really go back and forth if I wanted, to test my patterns out in both too, to make sure that they work for both, because I've found that the people who do yarn under, their stitches are more compressed, and so sometimes like my little Basil the hamster is this long for me, and then the same yarn for a yarn under will be like a whole 1.5 inches shorter. So anyway, just a tidbit of what I'm working on. So I did try to yarn under on this guy. These are all baubles that you color change in the round to, so you don't have to, you're not surface crocheting or adding anything later. That, you know, made it pretty easy. It's very small. I mean, like, fits in both of my hands, small. There is an egg that you can make that goes around this guy that I did not make. Will I make more of these? I don't know. It gave me fits, one, because I was yarn undering, and I have to think so hard when I do that right now. I mean, I think it's getting faster, but I'm literally like, was trying to really concentrate and make sure that I did every single stitch yarn under, because I can get to going and then just like, it's like my brain flips back to what it knows how to do. So anyway, it turned out pretty small. It did take me probably 25 minutes to make him for how small he is. I'm going to put him in the $8 bin, which it probably took me more like 25 minutes, I would say, between the colors and then stuffing. And yeah, I would say it was definitely more like a 25, almost a 30-minute make, which usually I would do 10 on, but I'm going to put him for 8 because he's just so small. I don't think I could get anything else, any more out of him. But this is new. So for those people who yarn under and yarn over, or do both, or switch back and forth even, like on amigurumi specifically, do you change your hook size? So like, I was wondering that too. So like, I kept my hook size, but then I felt like I got some gaps in this, which yarn under is supposed to be tighter. And so I don't know if it was just a tension thing where I wasn't holding my yarn well because I was holding it the way I normally do for yarn over. I don't know. Anyway, so let me know if you do both. Like, do you change your hook size for the same yarn when you decide to do one or the other? I'd appreciate knowing that. Green Frog Crochet, new pattern for me. If I was going to make this again, I would probably make it in Burnette blanket so it was big, because he's so tiny. I also, at my new job, this was like week 3 this last week at my new job, decided to start taking my crochet for lunch. I've gotten to where I can, you know, taking my lunch now instead of going out. You know, I don't have, anyway. So I'm taking my crochet to just get a little break, eat real fast, crochet a little bit at work, trying to do some small stuff. So these, I'm going to show you 4 things, which there was only 4 days this week because we were off for Good Friday. I'm going to show you the 4 things that I made at work on my lunch break. So the first thing I made was another baby frog by Mom Stitchetti. This was her free pattern on Instagram. This is a Lisa Voluto yarn. I'm going to charge $8 for these guys. So this was the first thing that I made on my lunch break Monday. And then I made this jumping spider, which is handmade by Nikel's pattern. You do have to sew the bum onto the body, but it's so fast. I can make these in like 18, 20 minutes maybe. So, and then I made a baby turtle, which this is a free pattern on Instagram. Again, everything should be linked below. I started with the purple because I knew I didn't have much of it, and then it just happened to where it ran out and I had the pink, and I knew I did, but it changed like right where this head gets tacked back, so you can't see it, which is like, yay, that worked out nice. And I said I wasn't going to make any more baby turtles because I already had, I think 10 or 11, but I don't know if you can have enough baby turtles, and it was just, I had the yarn colors in my bag, so baby turtle, $8. And then Thursday, I made one more baby frog out of this green, which I really love this green. This is all Elise Veludo yarn. So these are the 4 things I made. 2 baby frogs, a jumping spider, and a baby turtle on my lunch break. So 3 $24 items and 1 $10 item. That's $34 worth of stuff that I made on my lunch break, which is pretty good. I mean, it's 4 things I wouldn't have otherwise if I just didn't crochet on my lunch break. So anyway, plus I set them on my desk when I was done and people enjoyed coming by to see what I made that day. It was kind of fun. Okay. Next thing I made was yesterday. I was like done with my 2 huge tests and I had the stuff that I made on lunch. I was off on Friday, on Good Friday, but I was gone all day. I took my son and his friend out for her birthday. It was her birthday, so we went and watched the Minecraft movie and went and ate lunch, and we got my son's permit, his learner's permit to learn how to drive. And so we did that on Friday. I mean, and then I did all my grocery shopping. And by the time we got home that night, I mean, we left at 10 and I didn't get home until it was 8 something. So anyway, so most of these I made yesterday. I decided to do just some small stuff because I'd made so many those big projects and my hands just needed a break from great big yarn and great big projects. So I decided to make the baby frogs in Posh with Naughty Ball. So I made 3 baby frogs in Posh and Naughty Ball. This green, this neon-y green color is Posh. These 2 are Naughty Ball. I just put the keychain on the back so that his legs just dangle, which I thought was cute. Cute, cute, cute. Okay, so I made this one first, then I made this one. And then this one was the last one I made, and I tried yarn under with this. I have an easier time doing yarn under with Posh for some reason, but I just wanted to show you the difference in size between them. Same exact pattern. The pink is yarn under and this one's yarn over. So like you can see, definitely can see the difference in the stitches. The pink one is yarn under, this is yarn over. And you can see the difference in the size for sure. I mean, maybe. I can anyway. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but the pink one is shorter for sure. So like your yarn over really like elongates the stitches. So as the rows add up, it makes them taller and longer. And then the yarn under, they're more compact and compressed down. So the rows are shorter. The rounds, I keep saying rows, but they're rounds. Anyway, I just thought that was neat to try to see. I'm pretty sure this is Alexandra from Mom Stitchetti's free pattern on Instagram. And I'm pretty sure she's also the one that did the mermaid, but I'm pretty sure she does yarn under, because a lot of amigurumi designers and plushie makers do, because it really does make a really pretty stitch. But I thought, though, the pattern was probably designed to be yarn over or under. So with it being designed to be that way, I'm like, it'll probably still turn out really cute and shaped the right way, because that's probably the way she designed it. And I have been making it in yarn under, which I like both actually. In this particular case, because it's not like someone's head being elongated, I don't think it makes that much of a difference. It just makes the baby frog just a little bit longer. So anyway, 3 little baby frog keychains. I sell my keychains for $6. So I'll put them in my inventory. And then I looked at my keychain market prep list, which I linked the Canva for that if you wanted to print it off. I linked that in my last video for free if you want to just print my market prep list. And I was like, what kind of keychains do I not have? I'm like, I had enough ice creams. I had enough Stanley cups. I only have one squid, so I could probably make a couple squids. So now I have 3 frogs, and I'm like, I had no stingrays, and I've done pretty well selling stingrays. So I made 2 stingrays. This is the same pattern I used for the $5 stingrays. I usually make them in bigger yarn, but in Posh or Naughty Ball, they come out pretty small. You can put them on a keychain. And I like to put the keychains on them so that they're swimming like this instead of like this. I mean, you could do them either way. You could do them this way if you wanted so they hung this way, but I put them on this way. The designer for this is French and I can never say it, so it'll be linked below, and it's on Instagram. Also $6, so I have $30 worth of keychains. So that's everything I made this week, plus the stuff that you missed. I think that's the stuff that you missed in last week's video. 5 keychains, the little baby dragon, the big rhino, the big monkey, and then the spider couple baby frogs in the $8 size, and the little baby turtle. Total this week was $150, so I'm still not like back to my normal productive self. Just stuff going on, you know. The kids, family, we've been playing games. We've been going on, taking the dog on short walks. The weather's getting nicer. So we're doing those things, you know, instead of just sitting and crocheting because it's cold and nasty outside. So maybe that's my new normal. I don't know. But hopefully I can get back into the 200 to 250 range per week. I do have, our next market is May the 10th, and it's the Anime Fest. It's just a one-day thing on a Saturday. We've never been. We're just in the Artist Alley, which we're talking about, like, this is not a Comic-Con sized event. This is just a one-day, like 6-hour Anime Fest in a big town to me, but much smaller than like Indianapolis or Atlanta or, you know, something like that. So this is not a huge Comic-Con multiple day thing. This is just a one-day thing, which there is a cosplay. There are some actors, voice actors that are there, that kind of thing. But we are going there May the 10th. So that's my stomach growling if you can hear it. It would like to have some breakfast. So 3 weeks. Yes, next weekend is prom for my younger daughter, so that's going to be exciting. But outside of that, hopefully this week will be productive, get a lot of stuff done, and I have May the 10th, and then 3 weeks after that we have a big one-day show in Corden, Indiana that we've never done before either, that I hear is really good. And then the weekend after that's the 2-day Strawberry Festival, where last year we both sold a lot at that Strawberry Festival. So there's not going to be a lot of time, you know. Anime Fest, 3 weeks, a big event, and then the next weekend another 2-day event. So we need to try to get as much done as we can because there's just not going to be time in there. School's going to end, you know. Memorial Day is going to happen in there. You know, you're going to start prepping your pool if you have a pool. All those fun things are going to start happening in the month of May too. So, and then after that, we are done. After the second weekend of June, or first weekend of June, really, I guess it is, we are done right now until September. So we'll have the summer, a break for markets, but then we'll have at least one every month in the fall. So thanks again to Ashley from Go and Crochet and Shop Safari Stitches for letting me test your patterns this week. Oh, I do have one more thing. Speaking of testing, I got picked again, guys. Like, I think it was Friday. I got notification. I was done. I just finished both of those and was like, yay, I can finally work on whatever. And I am not mad about it because I really wanted to do this test too. I just think it's funny that I'm gonna end up doing 4 in like 2 weeks. Anyway, I got picked for another test that I'm working on, so I am almost done with that. I just have some feet and surface crocheting to do, And then I got to make my son's dragon that matches his friend's red dragon. And then I'm free. Yes. So, and then I don't know what I'm going to make. I really need to make myself a focus list. And that way when I don't feel inspired, I just can go to the list and know what needs to be done. But if I'm feeling inspired, I make whatever I want to make. Because it's to have fun. Okay, guys, I think that's all I have. Sorry, I said that again. Have a great week. Let me know what your favorite pattern is, and let me know about the yarn over versus yarn under, and if you go back and forth, if you change your hook size. I'd be interested to know that, if it is something that I start to do, whether or not, you know, you're changing or not, or if you're just using the same hook. So, okay. I think that's all I have, guys. Thank you for being here. Another shorter than normal video, but hopefully I don't freeze in this one. And you guys have a great week. We'll talk to you later. Bye. We'll see you. Happy crocheting.